The Surfing Violinist presents Why Bollywood? 15 magical Bollywood moments that put Masala in this Ferungi's veins. Masala Vlog 28.
So why Bollywood? Well, music is the short answer, but the long answer requires a lot of context, and I hope to give some context in this series of videos. Long overdue. I'm almost a year behind on these Masala vlogs. In a lot of works of art, people will say that it's greater than the sum of its parts. With Bollywood movies, I think it tends to be the opposite. Sometimes there's these great parts that when you put them together into a cohesive whole, unless you're a fan of Bollywood movies and the genre, it's more than a genre, it's just more like its own piece of art. It's like opera. You know, you can like classical music, but maybe you hate opera or ballet. Just like with operas, like some people have never watched an entire opera, but they've heard little pieces of operas without knowing it. It's been, these songs that have been featured in movies and used as soundtracks and used in movie trailers and used in advertisements. Bollywood is a lot like that, where they're these moments that are greater than the sum of the parts, actually. They're greater than the whole, and maybe the entire movie is terrible and you don't ever really want to watch it again. But you may just keep coming back to that one song or that one melody or that one movie moment that's in the dance scene that's in the movie. And so I'm focusing primarily on that. And this will tie in well, I think, with my violin work. I've been wanting to do Bollywood covers for a very long time. I've got my performing and production, well, maybe not some of my production, but my performing setup much better so that I can do covers at speed, pretty much off the cuff. So hope to be doing that. I've just been a little intimidated because I want to represent Bollywood melodies well, and I've never felt the very nuanced way that what we call ornaments, the little trills and slides from one note to another. I've never felt like I was doing it quite right, but playing some jazz and some folk tunes here in the US, I think, is helping me to realize, well, something's better than nothing, so we can maybe work our way there. So in this first episode, I'm going to talk about Dola Re Dola, and forgive me, Indian viewers, my Hindi is way out of practice. I'll be pronouncing a lot of stuff very incorrectly, very Ferungi style Hindi here. Before I ever discovered the work of A.R. Rahman, I saw Devdas when it was released in India. I was in India in 2002, so we got to have the theater-going experience. And the song that really stuck with me the most from that entire experience was Dola Re Dola, the moment when Aishwarya Rai and Madhuri Dixit get to do this, like, beyond item number. It takes this to very operatic ballet levels. The music is so good. It's like big band meets opera, meets a Broadway musical, and the costumes are just so intense. The colors are so intense. As a kid, Tchaikovsky was my favorite, pretty much. I would listen to Romeo and Juliet overture over and over. I'd listen to 1812 overture over and over. I like that bombastic build, especially towards the end. And what Dola Re Dola does at the end is just, there's all sorts of stuff going on. You have the backup singers going, and then you have the lead male playback singer just soaring above this all, and it's so, I'm getting chills even just trying to describe it. It's so, that bad stuff is going down. Like, it's just, there's this sinister underbelly. It's very Romeo and Juliet-like, actually. There's something tragic waiting in the wings. And they're showing you what part of it, too. I mean, there's the villainous character that's sitting there ogling the ladies. But it is masterful execution of so many art forms in one little package. I definitely want to try to cover this. Trying to figure out a way to do it, though, as a solo violin with a backtrack, because there's so much going on. It would be great with an orchestra, or be great with multiple voices. So one day I hope to accomplish that. This is a masterpiece, timeless. I think Devdas is one of those films that you can use to show people what Bollywood is like, and they won't need all the context, and they can kind of get it on its own. Just tell them this is a foreign musical, and they can get it. It is a movie that I think is greater than the sum of its parts. Sholay is a harder sell, though, primarily because it rips off Once Upon a Time in the West so much. There's really strange, jarring it's very Masala, but very jarring switches in genre from slapstick, buddy comedy, romance, then full-on drama and tragedy. It feels like a lot crammed into, and also it's not very short. It's a very long movie. And then there's the way that the movie ends. The censor board coming in and saying, well, you have to end this without someone dying. It seems very tacked on, very moralistic in a film that is not moralistic otherwise. When you're riffing off a Western that is very amoral, and then you slap on this moral at the end, it really robs the film of its punch. In spite of all that, though, the end of this film for me really got through my criticisms. I was actually being pretty cynical about it. I wasn't really into it. And then we get the scene with Amitabh running across the bridge. I think this is phenomenal execution. I think the way that the music drops out and you really get to hear, like, it almost feels like a pulse pounding moment, and you hear the gunshots and you hear his feet on the click clack on that bridge. And then it builds up to that climactic moment, very iconic in the history of Bollywood, with the revelation that Jay has been cheating Viru this entire time. And it signals Viru's redemption. This is a redemption moment. I liked it so much we named my son Viru, actually, because Viru in that moment reminded me of my dad. It's analogous to my dad's story of redemption from from a life of crime. So it had a pretty big impact on my life. So if I were to cover a song from Sholay, I actually wouldn't cover the original Yeh Dosti, but the reprised version at the end, the sad Yeh Dosti. So this was one of those Bollywood moments that helped me understand Bollywood in whole. Because when you're watching a Bollywood film, you're really getting like a whole season of TV in this one compressed moment. You're getting this buffet of film genre. And Sholay was one that helped me to understand that. So it is essential. So for the third song and film, I'm going to jump outside of Bollywood to Dhanush's movie 3. Now, I knew about 3 because of the song, Why This Kolaveri D, which really didn't, bowl me over when I heard it, but it became ubiquitous in North India around the time we were in India. You heard it everywhere. It was my language helper, Neeraj. He introduced me to the song, so it was funny. And I listened to it, I was like, yeah, okay, that's something, I guess. It just didn't really hit me at the time. But years later, when I went back to watch it, hearing it played at weddings and stuff in India a lot, and it's a great story of marketing, actually. You could say guerrilla marketing. Dhanush was a big star, but it really launched his buddy who did the music onto the map, and it ended up being this mutually beneficial thing. It ended up great marketing for the movie, which also in turn was great marketing for the music. I think the song is very evocative and it's very unique. The movie is uneven and odd, but has its heart in the right place. But the song is such a whimsical, darkly comic pop hit, and its success proves that you can cut through the regularly scheduled Bollywood Masala programming. I'm glad such a catchy tune made it through. So before we went to India, my wife went gaga over Hrithik Roshan's dance moves in Dhoom 2, set to the remix of the horn theme from the first Dhoom. And I may have developed a bit of a man crush myself. I've never been much of a dancer. And India has tried to get me to dance. I still can't quite do it. But yeah, definitely a little bit of envy there in terms of dancing. When we arrived in India, we were delighted to discover that the freight trucks use that sound, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na as their horn, all out of tune. Fantastic. But I made fun of the Dhoom movies. I thought they were terrible. Dhoom, to me, is a perfect example of Bollywood being less than the sum of its parts, the whole being less than the sum of the parts, and there only being one really great moment. Dhoom 2, it was Hrithik Roshan's dancing. Dhoom 3, however, it was this song Malang. You want to talk about a operatic, ballet, Broadway musical, bombastic sequence. This is very much like, to me, Dola Re Dola that I mentioned earlier. At the very end of their big dance sequence number with Amir Khan and Katrina Kaif, it explodes into this climax in which, again, you have this male soloing, playback singer soloing over all this other stuff going on, and then he comes back in with la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, and it's so unexpected but perfect. And it managed to take something cheesy and Bollywood masala and turn it into this operatic and timeless moment. I have to hand it to Yash Raj. They took something that was a cheesy, Fast and Furious masala ripoff, and they still managed to turn it into something operatic and timeless. That's Bollywood's power right there. And you do have to really put yourself into the Bollywood masala moment, not be so cynical, not just make fun of it, and let yourself be carried along in the current. And you will experience moments like this, but you just have to have some patience. Not ironic, truly epic. The first masala blockbuster I fell in love with was Ghajini. Ghajini is, again, just a plagiarized idea, a rehash version of the South Indian film that was a ripoff of the Nolan brothers' Memento. This idea that a guy has short-term memory loss and he has to have a Polaroid to help him remember things. So they took that idea and turned it into this masala epic in South India, and then they redid the same thing in North India with the same villain and the same lead actress. Different lead actor. Same guy writing the score. And there's two favorite songs for me in the North Indian version. There's Guzarish, where the dance scene is set in Namibia, in Dead Vly, which I think was put on the map by Tarsem in his movie The Fall. And I think he might have even used it in Jennifer Lopez' The Cell. And the music there is great. I love that song Guzarish. It has this Inya vibe going on, and there's this again, there's this something that he does towards the end of the song that's kind of foreshadowing bad things are coming. But it's his song Kaise Mujhe Tu Mil Gayi that happens later in the movie. And I've gushed about this before, but it's wild because in this movie, rather than having your typical dance scene, it's more of an inner monologue montage where they say goodbye to each other. Then he goes to the airport and gets on the plane. There's this melancholy sense of loss and impending doom. And it's a very bittersweet love song, but without your typical Bollywood music video, a dance number. It's a real brave moment in Bollywood masala terms because you could have squeezed in another dance, but the director and Amir Khan have the bravery to just let this play out in a very slow-mo travel scene. You're letting the music do the work as opposed to letting the visuals do the work. And it's such an iconic tune. Again, one that I want to cover and do justice eventually. A transcendent moment in masala history. So in the next few masala vlogs, I'll keep this trend going, talking about some of my favorite Bollywood songs and Bollywood movie moments. Typically, music is tied to the movie moment, even if it's not the whole song.
To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the violin vlog, the masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.